All right, guys. So welcome back in this tutorial where we were doing to do app. All right. So this is basically the part 3. All right. So my part 3, the first one is to do application at Twitter. Could you know it should be app and learning. Okay. So just as a recap, last time tinapanga create a to-do resource. Right, now I created a to-do resource. DTO entities. We had the to-do controller, we had the to-do module, and we had the to-do service. Right, so mu to-do controller nimwe ni malouds atu. Right, malouds amene amapanga communicate with our service. Right, and our service here yomwe yapanga communicate ndi to-do repository. Okay, which is just like a link between our application and our database entity or database table. Okay, so apa timapanga save by passing in data yomwe ili mu DTO. Ili mu create DTO yomwe ili simply data yokhuzana ndi matutus athu, right? Yomwe ili to-do yathu yomwe ili tapanga create. Okay, so that was basically about that. Okay, so video lero tifuna tionjezere ma good functions. Okay, so apa munthu akhoza kupanga create meme, akhoza kupanga create amene to do, komanso akhoza kupanga fetch ma to do onse amene alimo. Okay, komano let's say what if afuna apange fetch only one specific to do. Okay, or kapena mwina afuna apange update to do ija afuna isinde kale mwina analakwisa pena pake, or kapena let's say afuna apange delete a particular to do. Okay, there's methods of it video annoying. Okay, so won't waste time, let's get hands on. So we'll be using the same convention, right? So we use decollator. Okay, so for update we'll use the patch. Okay, so we'll use the patch. Okay, so it's imported from Nestjs commands. This is the patch right here. Okay, so patch means it's the same as update. Okay, patch. Okay, it's another way for saying simply update. Okay, so patch. So this is a panga patch based on the ID. So this bank update based on the ID again. You have to do it. Okay, so I'll call this update. Okay, so as we have said, we'll receive a parameter. Okay, we'll receive a parameter, and the parameter, as it has been listed, it's an ID. Okay, and what type will this ID be? Okay, so this ID, let me check ID. What did we set our ID to be? Was it a string or a number? So our ID was a number, so controller, so ID be equal to number, right? And the body, so okay, so body the somewhere this banga send is right, so to find bangi update you, that's like our body, right? Let's say to is into title is this banga pass using the body. Okay, command ikafikano pa loud patupa will be passing that body into a DTO. As we said last time, good DTO ndio mwe imapanga transfer data from let's say kuchoka ku controller kupita ku surface. Okay, so we use the DTO. So let's pass the body. This time I'm tipanga pass ku update DTO. Okay, so call this update to do the change update to do DTO. It will be of type update to DTO, right? Something like that. Okay, so yeah, I think we can close it right there. Okay, but for some reason it's still complaining. So that's the update DTO. Was that it expected a semicolon, but it got that. Okay, but anyways, Okay, so let's finish it up first. Return. Where are we getting the body from? Okay, okay, so I think I'm making a mistake here. The body should be like this. Yeah, okay. So the body should be like this, should be a decorator, just like we have done here. That's how the body should be. Yeah, so basically we'll return this dot. So we'll call it to do service, okay, and we'll call the update method. Yomwe mulibe right now, okay, the update method, and we'll be passing in the ID, basically the ID and the update DTO, right? Be passing in the ID and update DTO. Now it's complaining that to do service we don't have such a function, right? Update does not exist. So let's go make update exist, okay? Or what I can do is, okay, let me just create all the endpoints. Okay, let me just create all the louds. Okay, because I literally just have one more, the delete one. I'll just do it real quick so that you get deleting. So it will use the delete decorator right there, and it will also take a parameter because you will need to know which to do we want to delete. So we'll know that based on the ID, right? The ID that will be passed. Okay, so we'll say delete, right? So come on, say delete. Okay, so it takes a parameter, and the parameter is an ID. Okay, what is the ID? The ID is of type number. Okay, and I don't okay, so this one will not take a body. There's no need for a body. We just need the ID for the one that we want to delete. That's all that we need. Okay, so we'll return this dot to do service dot, we'll call it delete function inside the to do service, which is not yet there, but we'll create it shortly. Okay, but then we are passing in the ID. Okay, yeah, passing in the ID. There we go. Okay, so I've created the louds for update and delete. Now let's create my services, so like the actual functionality now, interact with the database, the actual business logic. Okay, so we'll start with the update. Okay, so this is an entity, so we'll go into the to-do service. Okay, all right, so this is the to-do service. So let's start by creating the update function. Okay, just to also mention, we can make all these asynchronous functions. Okay, so what this means is these functions are synchronous. It means that these functions can actually take time to actually give us a response. So we need to handle such cases, right? Like the whole application should not clash because we are fetching for particular data. So we make the function asynchronous, right? We make it asynchronous because we know that this might take time in a real world environment where we are actually dealing with networks, right? So let's say the server network is kind of slow. We don't need the entire application to clash. Things should still work, right? So the entire application will continue functioning while waiting for this function to actually be completed, right? So for updates, we'll also do an async function. So we'll call it update. Okay, so it will take an ID, which is a number, just as we passed, and it will take also an update to do DTO, which is of type update to do DTO. Which is of type update to do DTO, right? So what are we going to do inside here? What we are going to do inside here, is we are going to update, right? Okay, so let's create the logic. Okay, so let's create a constant. Let's call it do. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to actually be able to check, right, if the particular record we are trying to update is actually available in the database, right? So we want to check that the EDPOM database will run the function preload. Okay, so what preload does, what preload takes, it takes what it's supposed to search for, right? So it's supposed to use that ID, okay, and whatever is in the update DTO. Okay. So object little only known as ID does not exist on type. Okay. So the ID is complaining. ID does not exist on type deep partial to do. Alright, fine. Let's see. Find name to do. Okay, so let's check the to do entity. So we will have been using to do ID. Maybe that might be the cause. So let's go back. Let's do something like this to do ID. Okay, so there was a little bit of a mismatch. Okay, but then now it's fixed. So entity our to do was our ID was really nice to do ID, so I had to fix that. It was causing errors. Okay, so now so we continue. So what we're doing here is we're checking if that record actually exists in the database, right? So what happens if the record does not exist? Okay, so let's add an if statement. Okay, so if it does not exist, right, so we use the shorthand, just use exclamation to do, which means to do does not exist, right? So if it does not exist, you can throw an error, right? So throw new not found exception. So this is a built-in this error function is a built-in nest. Okay, so you can just simply import it from Nestjs commands. Okay, it's a built-in, and here you can actually add a message. So to do if that ID is not available. Okay, so to do that ID is not available, right? If it's not available, that is, so that means the entire execution will stop here. Ikangobeza exception yonchi cbds also can execute as, right? Command ikakauti, let's say aibeza. Okay, so let's continue with our logic. Ikakayabezeka now, let's update. Okay, so we'll simply save the new stuff that we have here and replace what is there, right? Simply just save it. So to do that, we'll put that in a return. Okay, we'll do something like return this dot our to do repository, right? Dot save. Remember, this is the save. Okay, and what we'll pass here, we'll simply pass in the to do, right? The to do. Okay, which is this right here. So we are passing in the ID and the content in the DDO. Right? And then if we do that, then it means we have actually updated it, right? So let's quickly do the remove. The remove is the most easy one because there's not really much going on. Okay, so it would also be an async function. So we call it delete. If I remember pretty well, we call it delete. So what it does, it takes an ID to do ID of type number. Right, that's what it takes. Nothing else than that. Okay, so first of all, you must check if that to do is actually available, right? So let's check that with that ID before you actually start deleting stuff. Okay, so we check if it's actually available. So we'll do something like a constant, we'll call it a to do, and we should actually fetch. We should actually fetch from the database this dot find one. Okay, so we don't have okay, sorry for that. I'm really tired. I'm recording this video very late, as you can see. This is somewhere around 1 o'clock, so I'm very tired, but well, we'll actually get this down. So this dot to do repository dot find one. Okay, so we'll do it like this. Find one by ID. Right? So what does he say? Cannot find name. Okay, so find one by to do ID. Type number. This is applied. Going find one. Okay, so let me do something like this. Okay, so let's just do a find by to do. Okay, so this one is still complaining. Okay, the type number is no property with common find property. Okay, what does that mean? Okay. Okay, so this one is trying to play around games, right? Because what we're trying to do basically is do we have it in here? Okay, so we don't have anywhere else where we're finding one. All right, that's crazy. Okay, so let's just do supposed to be find one, and we are simply supposed to pass in that ID. This is supposed to work. It's common type find one option to do. Okay, type number has no property in common with type find.ts. Okay. What else we can do? Find where. Okay, so let me just try something like this. Where to do ID is equal to that to do ID. Close it. Good on me then. How does it say? The number is not assignable to type find option where. Find option where the expected comes from where, which is declared on type find one many. Okay, whatever that means, man. Whatever that means. Okay, so we can't do this. How about if you compare word by word? We can also do that. Okay, fine. So what we'll do here, okay, let me just check how we can actually. Okay. Okay, so I think this is where we're missing it. Do you use? Okay, so we need to write it this way. Okay, so this is the semantic, right? So what this is doing, it is going into the to do repository or the to do entity, and it's finding where to do is equal to do ID. Okay, so it's just simply, this is just simply like writing a query, right? It's equivalent to writing a query. It's checking for the to do. So what we'll say here is that if we have actually the to do, right? This time around we'll approach it this way. If we have the to do, okay, if we don't have the to do, right? This time we use a logic whereby, let's say if we have the to do, what should we do? If we have the to do, what we have to do is that we have to actually delete. Okay, we have to actually delete. So to delete, we simply return. Okay, we'll return this dot repository. Okay, I've missed it. To do repository dot remove. Okay, so that's what we use. Remove. Well, remove. Just remove the to do, right? Yeah, just remove the to do. Okay, so we remove based on the to do. No over matches. What does this mean? What does this mean? Remove. Can we pass the entire to do? Okay, so we can pass the entire to do. So we'll remove to do. Else should give us some weird ass exception. Okay, something like they say this to do does not exist or something like that, right? So it's just throw not found exception. Okay. Just throw a not found selection. Okay, so that means to do it that ID is not a variable, right? You can save it. So as you can see now, control Java si avanga complain if I did delete dampasa so update. I mean I'm a so now let's test out these APIs, right? Let's test out these endpoints. So what we'll do, let's open our console, right? So run npm run dev, and we must also not forget to start our saver, right? So all these things did not be in the first video, in the part one. Okay, so we talked about how you can set up all these things, how you can set up XAMPP, set up the database, right, and set up all those stuff. So we do npm run dev and press enter. Okay. So let's wait for it to start. As it's starting, okay. Okay, npm run start dev. Okay, so let's do npm run start dev. Okay, so as it's loading, I'll open my API right here, my postman. So this postman, so that I'm gonna add get from notepad, create to do, create to do, did the create all. Okay, so right now we have done the update. So let's add a request. Let's add a request. We'll call it update. Okay, so it's taking some time. Okay, so we'll just wait a little bit for it. Let me save. All right, so it's done, and I've created the update. Okay, I've created the update, and I've also created the delete endpoints. Okay, so for the update, okay, so we are running on localhost 30. Is it 3000 or 3030? Okay, so I have to verify. Let's see get all. So let's see. So it's 3000 apparently, but then we are unable to connect to the database for some reason. I don't know how or what's going on, so I'll just check and make sure. Okay, so apparently the database no longer exists. I think this is because someday I actually resetted everything else. I resetted all my databases, but this is easy. We'll just create a new database. Okay, it's as easy as that. Right, we'll just simply create a new database name, we'll paste it exactly as how we created it. We'll generate database has been created, so that's the database. So let's just restart the server. Let's see what will happen. Yeah, so with that again, master is a database, master is an example, then I've done the data all the databases. Yeah, that's why the to do what we is on run and have it on our remotes. All right, but then now we're back here. Let's just wait for it to load. Okay, so it's done loading and we don't have any errors. So let's see if it has populated to do app database with the tables, the table that we have. Let's expand. There we go. That's our table. That's our to do table. So currently it means it's actually empty. So if you do the get all, okay, if you try to get all status okay, so there's no problem with that. Let's see what it gives us. It gives us an empty array, okay, because there are no to do's. So let's try to add some to do's. Okay? So the first to do, the title shuffle, and that's a description. There you go. That to do ID is one, description is that. Okay, and I'll create another to do. I'll call it things to buy. In the description, I just say buy all from Ahad. Buy all from Ahad. Okay, so yeah, send that. You see, that's ID number 2. That's also saved. And for the last one, I'll say buy some makeup stuff, right? Buy makeup stuff. So this is perhaps a lady trying to keep track of what she wanna buy. So we can talk of something like I'll just put makeup stuff. Okay, so I wanted to actually mention makeup things. Commando seems like I'm not aware of those. So makeup stuff. Okay, so save. We can also send that. Okay, so apparently we have now like 3 to-dos. Let's verify with the get all API. We send that to get all. We send, and there we go. We have 3 to-dos. Okay, so let's start by modifying the update one. Let's try to update number to do ID number 3. Okay, from makeup stuff to something like purchase everything, right? So go to update, go on our body, go on low, okay, on low, and we paste our body, and then okay, so that's our body. So we want to change the description to something like I will buy everything, because why not? Okay, so we save that, and let's what's the update endpoint? So let's go verify. So this was the so it's patch. Okay, it's patch. It has we can add something like update. Okay, here we can also add something like delete. Okay, so if we go back, it will be something like to do update slash number 3. Okay, so that's the updating number 3. This is a patch right there, and we can send. Okay, so as you can see now, to do number 3 has been changed. To verify, we can see could get all. This was the last response. It was makeup of stuff, and if we refresh, you see that it has updated, right? So now we are able to actually modify stuff in our database using our endpoint. And to test out the delete, go to the delete and do add in the very same. Okay, so we just change this and put it delete. Okay, so let's delete number 3. To do number 3, we send. Okay, so cannot get to do slash delete slash 3. Okay, so it can find loud. What have I made? What have I missed out? What have I missed out? So it's to do slash delete, and then you pass the ID. So it's to do slash delete, then you pass the ID. So apparently, so okay, it's not a get, it's delete. Dang. Okay, so you pass. There we go. So this one has been deleted. It says so. So if we go to get all and we refresh, we're supposed to only find 2. There we go, 1 and 2. So the third one has been deleted. So basically, in essence, that's what basically the CRUD operations are, right? So what we have done here is that we are able to actually add 1, and we are able to update and delete, right, those particular memes. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it for today, and we can call it a day. And just to also mention out, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, right? Subscribe, that's what gives us energy to continue. Okay, so drop those like buttons, drop those subscribe, and leave those comments. Okay, so we'll stay in touch. So that's part of what we have done. So we'll also we need to, as I promised last time, we'll also create some sort of front end for our application, right? It is going to consume this API, so we'll do that in time coming. I hope you're well. Bye.